40 years of developing hockey players from youth to the pros, Minnesota Hockey Camps has a player development program for you. Located in Breezy Point, Minnesota, our professionally coached on-ice development sessions, off-ice speed training, weight room sessions, stick handling sessions, shooting skill sessions are the right program for you. MHC takes great pride in its tradition with developing NHL players like Chris Stewart, Ryan Bugsy Malone, Scotty Hartnell, and TJ Oshie. Our dedicated staff is ready for you. Come check us out at minnesotahockeycamps.com. Sign up for your chance to become the player you've always wanted to be. Hashtag who will be next.
Cold showers, leaking pipes, furnace giving you the chills? Look no further. At Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, we've got you covered. From expert plumbing solutions to HVAC magic and all sheet metal work, we are your one-stop shop for comfort and reliability. Professional service from a team that cares. Say goodbye to household woes and hello to peace of mind. Call Iron Range Plumbing and Heating today and feel the difference.
At Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, we have the trucks. Over 47 new Silverados and Sierras sitting currently on the lot with more to come. We have all the options: LT, RST, LTZ, High Countries, ZR2s. We have heavy duties. We have Sierra, SLT, Elevations, Denali's. We are equipped for the truck you are looking for. With great rebates currently, with up to $12,500 off on select models, now would be a great time to take advantage of savings and get yourself into a new truck today. Grand Rapids GM in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Welcome everybody to the Tea with Miss McGill Show, presented once again tonight by Aero Auto Glass and Supply. Aero Auto provides home services like installing and repairing your windows, glass doors, and glass shower doors. Aero Auto offers commercial glass doors. They install them and repair them. So if you got a business, turn to Aero Auto. And of course, they're your local source for windshield repairs and replacement with same-day services available. All of their work is warranted, and they accept all insurance companies for your convenience. If it's flat glass, it's Aero Auto. Get a hold of them, downtown Virginia and or downtown Hibbing. It is Puka speaking. It is the star of the show, Coach Reed Larson, on an important night. Seeding's out. Week 13 completed, episode 127. Just 4 weeks of the boys' high school hockey season left, Coach. So if you're a senior, you got 4 weeks to enjoy your ride here. And of course, obviously next week, there's going to be some people, the ride's over.
Yeah, the ride will be over for a couple right after that. Well, not in Section 7AA, there isn't a playing game, but there is in Section 7A, which I believe those playing games will take place this Saturday.
Saturday, right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then the quarterfinal games all through Section 7AA and Section 7A will be played on Tuesday.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, some are going to be packing it up and seeing if they can dust off their golf clubs, pull them out of the rafters, and get a few swings in before the snow is gone.
Exactly, yeah. They got the mitts out, got to get the...
Others are hoping that, in which he did, hoping that the groundhog saw his shadow, and they're going to get a little bit more time in the winter to play some more puck.
Speaking of last week, Super Bowl, what were your thoughts?
I kind of thought that it was going to go that direction with Seattle. I was a little upset though. I had my money on a board.
Oh, yeah.
On a Super Bowl board, and there was one area on the Super Bowl board that had me winning $200 if it stayed 6-0 at halftime. And as the second quarter is ticking down, you can just see them moving the ball this direction, going, okay, don't let them get across the 40, don't let them get across the 50, don't get into field goal range. And then next thing you know, they're in field goal range with 4 seconds left. Yeah. 9-0.
200 bucks.
9-0, and I'm going, couldn't you just shanked it to the right? Come on.
How about taking the under for that half, huh?
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it was. I didn't really look at any of that stuff. I normally know. I'm not a big gambler, but I know what it is just to kind of see. And
well, here's my question. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time to talk hockey, but here's my question: how many field goals did that field goal kicker kick for Seattle?
I think. What did they say? Did he? I think he scored
5.
the most points of anyone in a Super Bowl, right?
He had 5 field goals in that game. How does he not get MVP?
Right, that's what I think. That's what somebody brought up. I think he scored more points than anybody in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they still give it to the running back, which he had a pretty good game.
Walker
But whatever, like, can't you give it to a special teams guy for scoring and tying a record or setting a record for the most field goals? Why not?
Yeah, I agree.
Game's not about kicking.
When was the last time a kicker was, or maybe never? I don't know if a kicker's ever been a Super Bowl MVP, but yeah, making a good point there. So now this weekend, St. Valentine's Day. So a lot of pressure on all you guys that are in love. Huh?
That's right. That's
man,
right.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Jeez.
well, Valentine's Day is always really close to our anniversary. The anniversary was last week.
Do the 2-for-1.
Yeah, so, well, we already went on our anniversary date on Thursday, but,
okay.
Maybe there'll be another time we might be able to take another date on St. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day Saturday, so it's
all
that
of
time
us
for hearts.
lovebirds out there.
Hearts and snowflakes.
That's right. That's right.
Well, good luck to all you in love. A big night coming up, so don't screw it up. I know my one daughter is super excited. So a lot going on here this week. Girls hockey playoffs. We've got a award coming up, and of course we're going to break down the 7A seedings are in. We're going to, of course, talk a little bit about the 7AA seedings. But before we dive in, another handful of subscribers this past week: Jace Westerberg, Travis Smart, Jesse Wright, Todd Frederick, Tara Shipka Acorn, Steve Hansen, Roger Gill, and David Banks. So be just like these fine folks and subscribe to America's fastest growing hockey show right now. We'll get you up into our games of the week presented by the Ring Sports Bar and Grill over in Eveleth. Just down, we're talking golf, just a chip down.
That's a pitch
from the just down from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Lots of history in this building. Go check it out if you're coming in from out of town. They have breakfast on the weekends, lunch, dinner specials that include Burger Monday, Taco Tuesday, Wing Wednesday, the legendary Quad Cities Fish Fry, all you can eat on Fridays, and Prime Rib Saturdays. The breakout rooms, like I said, getting towards the end of the season. If you're looking for a place to host that team banquet, the Ring Sports Bar and Grill is your place. 248-8582, or the Ring Sports Bar and Grill.com.
You're excited, aren't
you? Boy, this is a big
excited.
day.
This is a
248-8582. Good omen. I can't even talk.
Yeah.
So give Michelle a call, and she'll take care of you.
Say that number one more time.
248-8582. I know that one. I can say that one in my sleep. When I'm there, I actually tell the waitresses I know the phone.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt
248-8582.
the commercial, so you got it in there.
So
Michelle's is a good.
Michelle's a good egg.
Great job.
Nobody better. So, like I said, pay her a visit tomorrow. All right. So we're going to, like I said, get you up to our games of the week. Last week we previewed this wing. So this one, GR heading down. Where do they play? In St. Louis Park?
Yeah, they play at St. Louis Park. So we had the show on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
There was Rapids has had 3 games since the last show. Thursday last week, Rapids went to my old stomping grounds over in Souptown, where the Yellow Jackets play. That's where I played my college hockey, and it was a pretty.
You got a mural on the wall.
Pretty good reunion. Yeah, I get to walk around and see pictures of what I used to look like back when I was young, thin, and good looking. Now I'm old and gray. But at any rate, it was a good homecoming, and it was good for the Thunderhawks to get in there. It was a 4-0 win for the Thunderhawks over the Superior Spartans. It was. It could have been a little bit higher of a score. We took a little bit to get going in that game. I think coming into that game, we might have burned a few extra goals on Monday when we scored 10 over in Duluth. But you start thinking that it's going to be like that again the next night, and you're going to have to work a little harder. And went back to the drawing board. So had a practice Friday, and then ended up running down to Benilde St. Margaret, who plays at St. Louis Park Rec Center down there. And St. Louis Park had a game the night before where they played Hermantown, and that was a pretty good little battle. Ended up in a 3-3 tie.
Yep.
So we came in. Hermantown had to go back and end up playing against Holy Angels. They traveled back home and played Holy Angels.
Oh, that was a home game.
Yeah, and then we ended up playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday against Benilde St. Margaret, and that was an electric
Yes, I want to
first
hear
period.
about this one. Yes, how does this happen? Listen to
You
this one,
know,
folks.
if I could bottle up whatever it was that we drank or ate that day before we went to that game and distribute that before every game, I would do it.
Lightning in a
Scored
bottle.
5 goals in the first period. And we were just on. Guys were playing with grit. They were playing heavy. We were tough to break the puck out against, and we played sound defensively. And Sherlock was really good in the first period between the pipes. Second period was the same. We came right back out and said, well, geez, if we can keep this tempo going, we might score a whole bunch today. We kept her going for the first 9 to 10 minutes of the second period and ended up scoring 3 more. We had an 8-0 lead with just under 10 minutes left in the second period. They ended up scoring, made it 8-1. Kind of a weird goal and a screen on Sherlock, and ended up 8-1. They scored on another one. I think that was on a power play. And we went into the locker room between the second and third period 8-2, winning. Going into that situation, we've been in this position before, maybe one other time in the season when we're up by that much, right? We went into a third period on Duluth Marshall, up 5-2. Remember, we said that in the games of the week when we came back, that this team throughout the course of the year has not had the experience of being up by a decent margin late in a game and having to play and manage the clock and manage the game the right way. So we kind of got ourselves into a similar situation where we're kind of spinning our wheels. They were on a roll after they had scored that last one, ended up scoring another one to make it 8-3, scored another one to make it 8-4. And then they scored another one to make it 8-5, and then we're like, do we have to take a timeout and figure out
any power
what
plays
is
in there?
going on? I think they did have another power play in there, but a lot of it was just 5-on-5 play. They have a lot of speed. But they've got speed, and we kind of get watching, we kind of get on our heels a little bit. So we learned to manage the clock in that game, and that's something I can talk about when we get into talking about the Hermantown game last night. That. Teams have to learn, and this is part of competitive maturity. That's one of the best phrases that I can use for high school kids is you don't really know what to do in those situations until you've had experience in those situations.
Until you blew it in those situations, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, that's how you learn. I mean, I watched my daughter's girls basketball team up on Superior.
Yeah.
And they're running down the floor. It's a 3-point game. They're running down the floor. There's a shot clock now. Take your time down the floor, pass the ball right before the shot clock, then take the shot. Running because, again, not used to playing with the lead, so I know exactly. Go ahead. I know exactly what you're
I mean, it's like I said, it's competitive maturity. The third time was a charm. The first time we were in that spot, we dang near blew the lead and lost to Marshall. We ended up winning at 6-3. The second time we did it, we dang near blew an even bigger lead. It ended up 8-5 against Benilde. Well, we got into a similar situation on Tuesday night here where we're up by a couple going into the third period against the best team in single A hockey. Hermantown. That was a heck of a game. We came out really early in the game. We scored on the power play early in the first period. Nice tip by Dylan Clayton. Ended up scoring another one. They ended up getting a goal at close to the end or middle of I think it was the middle of the first period, and then we scored a third one. So went in the locker room 3-1. We come back out. We're playing. We score, make it 4-1. They score, make it 4-2. We're going out into the third period again with a 2-goal lead, like we said, against the best team in single A hockey. So what some people think, right? So apparently this third time is a charm. We've cashed in on some of that competitive maturity 2 other previous times where we just about gave up a lead. We learned how to manage the clock, right? Yeah. You get a 2-goal lead on a team like Hermantown, you're not trying to make individual plays at the blue lines. Right. You're not trying to one-on-one guys. You're trying to be smart and manage pucks. You get them across lines, you advance
100%.
zones.
There's a red line out there,
You
kids.
get pucks behind the goal line, and you're not now at this point in time, you're not trying to create a whole bunch of stuff right now. You're trying to use size and grit, and that happens in the corners. So you're not throwing the puck low to high anymore. Now you're managing the puck and grinding it out and keeping the puck down low. And you can make plays, but make sure it's a sure thing. Don't throw it to no one so they get a free breakout pass. Those were things that we ended up doing late in the game, where we ended up scoring another one to make it 5-2, and then late in the game on the power play, just throwing one at the net. Alex Salisbury throws one at the net, and it ends up hitting the goaltender and falling back in the net, 6-2. So the good part about last night is I think we were 2 for 2, or we were 3 for 3 on the power play. I can't remember what it was. The power play was 100% last night.
Okay, yes. I mean, so you explode for 6 goals again, 6-2 win, and you outshoot them 35-24. So, I mean, great way for the seniors last. Well, hopefully it's not their last home game, but last regular season home game here at Yanmar.
Well, and part of it too is we talked a lot about this early in the season. Francisco is one of the best goalies in the state.
Yes.
Francisco ended up coming out of the net after the first period.
I know. Is there an injury?
What
have you heard?
I don't 100% know, but there was a play that ended up going to the. There was a play that ended up going to the net, and he kind of got bumped off a little bit. His helmet came off, and there may or may not have been some symptoms of
a concussion.
A concussion.
Oh, okay. Because I had seen some stuff online. No verification that there might be an injury out there. So, okay, because like I said, I was at a girls' basketball game, so I'm not totally following. So, but yeah, like I said, big win. Now, I want to go back. I think it was a Superior game for a bruh award. So, kids, remember, you're a total bruh when you don't think of yourself. And a rookie like Cooper Lonson, congratulations, Scoop, scores his first goal, and you're a vet like the aforementioned Al Salisbury. Instead of going and congratulating, he runs over and grabs the puck. So,
that's an important piece. He gets the bruh award.
So Al, well, congratulations, you got the brah award. All right, anything else on, like I said, a pretty good, darn good week for the Thunderhawks?
Yeah, no, I think that was pretty good. That ended up getting the Thunderhawks to that 500 mark that we were looking at. We'll get to some stats here as we start talking about some of the seeding things and giving some thoughts out there and opinions about stuff. One of the goals that we had is with the difficult schedule and where we were sitting at the new year, our plan was to try to get to 500 by the end of the year, and it ended up with the regular season as 12-12-1.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. All right, Rock Ridge, another team we previewed last week. They had a couple this past week. Champlain Park coming to town over the weekend. Rock Ridge was trailing 2-1 heading into the third, but they got goals from Forsberg and the Tasmanian Devil himself to propel the Wolverines to victory. So that would have been 3-2. Champlain, though, out shooting Rock Ridge 38-28, and then last night they kind of cruised to the win over Cambridge Isanti, a 7-1 stomping. Cal Scott is back, so he and Bialki had a pair of Genos in the win there. And then another big one last night, a rematch of last year's Section 7A final. Number 2 Chisholm Hibbing hosting number 8 Cloquet. Scoreless first period. Sophomore Whitaker Rewerts finds the net twice in the second period, and the Blue Jackets battle to a 4-1 home win. Shots 24-24. I know, obviously, I don't think you got a chance to see any of that one because obviously we were on the ice here, but I did catch some of that during the basketball game. Pretty back and forth. Like we always say, Cloquet, well, it was tough. They played tough. Like I said, shots 24-24, and that got me thinking. The guy that no one's talking about in Hibbing, we've hardly haven't brought it up, and this was supposed to be the big question mark, is Gavin Lamphere. He's played 23 of 24 games, so that would make him 20. What do they have? 2 ties? What is their record? Anyway, he's got 20-some wins. So, and nobody's talking about the guy. So I think he's answered the question, that some people had.
The goaltending is not a problem.
Goaltending is not a problem, no. And like I said, he's kind of just gotten under the radar. like I said, another game where shots are pretty even, and he's answered the call. So like I said, anyway, ends up being a 4-1 home win for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on games of the week?
No, I guess the only other thing that I saw that kind of was come to my attention because I was talking to a couple of people, and I wanted to ask you this question: how many of the 4 goals that were scored for Hibbing Chisholm last night were power play goals?
You know, in my watching, they might have all been power play. Were they?
Could be. I don't know.
Okay.
That's one of the questions I wanted to ask because I did pull up some game film and actually sent you a couple of clips.
Yes, I saw those.
There are a couple times where I talked to one of the referees that reffed last night, and he'd had a couple of Goal-K players say to him, how do you call that? How do you call that? They're diving. They're diving off the face-off. It was the same face-off both times, and it was the same player that drew the penalty, and that becomes a talent sometimes. But when the referees are aware of you diving and flopping, you might be the team that gets the penalty in the future. Just so you know. And if that's you, and I know that you're probably watching this, Cole, they're on to you. You're diving off the face-off.
Well,
and I get it because you've perfected a craft. I've had a lot of players that have perfected the craft of being able to draw the penalty. Just careful that you don't get the embellishment penalty because they're watching it now.
Well, it's interesting because like I said, I'm at the basket, so I'm watching. You know, if my daughter's on the court or there's a break in the action, sometimes I am watching. I remember there being a long pause in the game.
Yeah.
And so then I turned
That
the
was
volume
after the
up.
second one.
Yeah, and that's when they said the refs were talking
Yeah.
with Coach Walter. So I was wondering, is there a timeout? What's going on here? But you could tell it wasn't because there were some guys standing in the middle of the ice, some guys standing up to the bench. It was ever a timeout. Everyone's at the bench,
The
right?
second penalty that they called that looked like it was a dive, what they called a hooking penalty, the stick actually was there. He just did a really good job of grabbing the stick and falling back. The first one, no one even made contact with him.
Okay.
He skated right by and then tripped like he stepped on a banana peel. And he sold it really good. Like, now you're on the power play.
Yeah.
Like, they're aware of that now, just so you know. So I like the idea of people being good at drawing penalties. If you go in there and working hard, you just don't want to be on the radar with the referees.
Yeah,
'Cause now they're watching to see if you're legit and you're actually going to be getting embellishing penalties.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I remember when
Careful, because I want to see Hibbing end up in that section final in that state tournament. So careful on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're, like you said, great to point out, Coach. And I remember Kelly Fairchild being a master of that. He drew a ton of penalties back in their
Grand Rapids boy.
Well, Hibbing in. Yeah. He's a mix. He's a mix.
He's a Grand Rapids
He's
boy.
Kelly Lake, Hibbing, and Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Holy cow, he's got a little
I
bit
knew
of
that
everything.
was going to ruffle a feather.
All right, let's move on to our previews presented by Aspire Heating and Control, your local Bryant dealer. And Bryant is the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild. Aspire specializes in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available. Services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, and media splits. They are, of course, licensed and bonded. Give Justin a call, 218-999-5957. Now it's warming up. Hopefully it stays warm, and we'll be talking about air conditioning, but we're still in February in Minnesota, so if there's any issues with the furnace, it's Aspire Heating and Control. Like I said, Justin, 999-5957. All right, let's move into the seeding 7A. We posted, as quickly as we could on our Goat Sports Facebook and Instagram, kind of what things looked like. A lot of comments there, how, why. I don't even know where to start with this one other than, so Chisholm Hibbing, they get the number 1 seed. It was after the basketball game, after I got caught up on some scores, I laid down last night. I thought, boy, I wonder if there's a path where Hibbing could be the number 1 seed. And lo and behold, that's kind of the way it went. I mean, if you look at Hermantown, I think the presumption was Hermantown beat them in, I think it was just January 13th. That would be that way. But Hermantown in 2026, 6-5-2. They haven't been the hot team. Of course, you guys put a bit of a bruising to them last night.
But them losing to Proctor.
And then, them losing to Proctor is
Who's-
part of this second
the
half.
4 seed or the 5? The Proctor
They got the 4. They got the 4.
They lost the 4 seed.
A tie to Warroad, whom Hibbing had beat right around the same time. It was kind of in that same area.
They beat us earlier in the year, and then
You just-
beat them.
Yeah.
Hermantown last night. So
Hibbing being the conference champions, which they're
Yep.
in the same conference. So, and I agree to a degree for those that are surprised, because like I said, I think most of this happened just in the last, not even 24 hours, in like the last 20 hours. I think
Yeah.
going into your game yesterday,
they were the 1 seed, and they would have stayed. Hermantown was the 1 seed, and they would have stayed the 1 seed if they had walked out of our building with a win last night.
yeah, especially a convincing win.
Yeah, and since they walked out of here with an L, and not only an L, but it was a convincing L
Right.
the other way. Like you said, I think that sends shockwaves out there that they may not necessarily be the top team in the state. And take a look back at the record of Hibbing versus the record right now of Hermantown. Hermantown is 16-5-4.
Yeah.
Right? What's
Well, I think
What's
what,
Hibbing?
22-2, and do they even have a tie?
One?
22-2-1 or something?
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got a Marshall tie.
There's no question that Hibbing is the top seed, and I think anybody that's upset or not sure why they got it, there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's a body of work that goes into it. It's a head-to-head that goes into it. And also teams that are voting take into consideration like who's playing their best hockey at the end of the year, which is the whole goal of going to the playoffs, playing at your best, peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
So that definitely comes into play.
Yeah.
And I think there was another one that you brought up that I never even really thought of. How did the conference standings land in the Lake Superior Conference? Well, conference doesn't matter towards sections, but they have their point values for things that go, and there's 4 teams in conference of the LSC that are single A. The other 4 teams are double A. Your single A teams are Hermantown, Hibbing, Cloquet, and Proctor. And Hibbing wins it with a 6-1 record. They're the LSC champs. Then you got, who was the next one? Hermantown ends up at the 3rd spot, right? Then you got Colcastle Carleton, who ends up 3rd from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of thing. Like,
So-
how are you the conference champ and you're in the same conference, but they
Yeah.
section, they're ahead of you in the.
I mean, I know the criteria. You always have to take head-to-head into consideration. But when there's a lot of things that happen at the 11th hour that matter, there's a lot of things that that can change.
Yeah.
Right. So that was interesting that you brought that up to me, because now that's a topic of conversation too, because when there's 4 teams that are single A in that conference and the other 4 teams or 5 teams are double A, that might come into part of the conversation too when it comes to seeding in double A.
No, the double A.
It could.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
It definitely could.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get to that in just a second, because of the one other item on the 7A that was wishy-washy was the Proctor Rails, the International Falls Broncos. They met once on January 3rd, 1-1 tie up at Bronco Arena. Falls just moved in, as we've reported a few times here over the last, 3 weeks. I think they got into the top 20. Proctor falls out of the top 20 during that time. But it does indeed, the 4 seed does indeed go to Proctor.
Yep.
I-Falls gets 5th, so at least the 2nd year in a row. I kind of want to think it might even be the 3rd year in a row. What's that, 150-mile trek, I think it's got to be ish, so Falls on the road to Proctor. Last year, overtime win by Proctor, so the big question is going to be, can Falls establish themselves, get that win on the road, and then we would see a different, because since the creation of Rock Ridge, semifinal Saturday, which is a week from Saturday, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit here, has been, since the formation of Rock Ridge, it's been the same 4 teams. It's been Hermantown, Cloquet, Hibbing, Proctor. So will we see, possibly the purple and gold showing up on February 21st?
I think you might see something different. here's my thoughts when you look at the 4 and the 5 seed. There's some people in International Falls that are really ticked off that they got the 5 seed because of the spectacular year that they've had, right? They've had a great year. They've done really well. Lots of wins, not only one loss, I think.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
But you also got to take into consideration the schedule that Proctor plays too, and the convincing win that Proctor had over at the time that was the number 1 team in the state.
Yep.
They beat Hermantown. That was the top team in the state. Who have you beat? Right? So you didn't beat them. It would have been a different story if it didn't end in a tie.
Right. Oh, sure.
Right? So that being said,
that's when you look back, it's like game of inches, right? Did they have a pipe, or did they have, you know what I mean?
But I think,
or did Proctor even the other way? But
it ends up that way in the seating. But to be honest with you, as much as I like Proctor, my wife might make me sleep in the garage. I think there could be a different result in that 4 or 5 game.
All right, yeah. Well,
That's
going to be the one to watch.
There could be.
Yep, that'll be Tuesday night. That'll be a barn burner to watch. Like I said, it was an overtime game last year, so we'll see how things kind of end up this year. All right, so let's move to 7AA. So hopefully you listened to the episode last week, and I made a bold prediction. I said, Coach, just to make Section 7AA more of a cluster, the Hilltoppers and the Greyhounds are meeting on Tuesday, which was last night, and I said, Duluth East is going to win this game. And I mean, we kind of went, ha, yeah. Well, sure enough, 4-0 Greyhound win. So I'm just going to go over, I guess, a couple of stats here. We'll just kind of, I'll throw out some stuff, and then we'll hash out the mashed potatoes.
So you know, the seeding doesn't come out officially until Friday for AA.
Exactly. So we're just speculating. We're just trying to fill this in. Normally, Coach and I, by about middle of January, got it kind of down, top 5-ish or something, and maybe one team's going to flip or something. But this year's been just nuts. So So we just said big win for East over Marshall. So East has beat Marshall. East has beat Forest Lake. I think they're the only team that has beat both of those teams, right? Mm-hmm. I think Duluth is the only one.
Yep.
We're talking about the people that are in the running. They're the only one. But Grand Rapids now, in 2026, they're 9-4, outscoring opponents 28-7 in the last 4 games, and their power play has climbed to 42%.
Almost 43.
Almost 43. Yeah, so humming along. Forest Lake, who has defeated Rapids, of course, defeated Rockridge, 4-7-1.
Again, defeated those 2 teams, but it was in the first half of the season.
First half of the season. They're 4-7-1 in 2026. They're at Woodbury tomorrow night, so they could end up 4-8-1, of course. Rockridge, they have Denfeld tomorrow night. Rockridge in 2026 is 8-4.
Could be 9-4. Could be tied with Rapids.
Yes, they could. I mean, I think they look back. That they gave that one away to Lakeville South about a month ago.
Yeah,
they're up 2-1 late in the third, and that one goes into overtime. And even that Marshall game, either Marshall came out guns a-blazing or Rockridge came out flat, or it was a combination of the two, but getting down 5-0 in that one, because I think that one ended up 5-3 or 5-4.
Yeah.
Ended up a game, but after that first period, it's like, they just couldn't climb out of it. So those are just some thoughts on some of the top teams. Now, we did come across some preliminary rankings. Like I said, this is.
These are your Twitter people.
Yeah, exactly.
You got Tony Scott, who anybody can find these. You go out onto Youth Hockey Hub, and he's got his rankings.
His rankings,
his guess.
Yep.
And then you got your Spihar parody on Twitter that also has his. You can look them up yourself. Yeah. We don't have to tell you what they did.
Okay.
Look them up yourself.
You go, okay. Yeah.
All right, fellas. You just can't get the hockey itch out of yourself. The college route isn't for you. Community college route isn't for you. The junior hockey route isn't for you. Well, there's still hockey that you can play. Why don't you check out the Jackson Hole Moose out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Take a look at these guys. Full crowds, full hockey, packed houses every night. Get a hold of TJ Thomas on Facebook, and he can get you hooked up with what's going on out there in Jackson Hole.
Integral Hockey Twin Ports offers top-of-the-line junior, intermediate, and senior sticks for sale. Integral also repairs shafts, blades, and goalie sticks using their patented process that restores your stick's original performance. Same flex, Same kick point. Shaft and blade repairs come with a lifetime warranty at the repair spot, so you can trust your stick to perform game after game. Give Sand a call, 218-940-9089.
Would you like to hear about Zorba's specials? On Mondays, it's Micro Monday. All taps are just $4. Tuesdays, $3 tacos and $4 Dos Equis. Wednesdays, personal pizzas, $8 and domestic taps, $4. Thursdays, we have deals on nachos and $5 Surly taps. We offer trivia on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., bingo on Thursday at 6 p.m., and then karaoke Thursdays at 10 p.m.
So there's plenty of interesting combinations that you can find on this. So anything, do you have any comments on 7AA?
Yeah, I mean, I have to try and keep my comments to a minimum here because it's a conflict of interest. But I did like what you said before too. Like, it's usually you're looking at different criteria as to what's happening. You have to take into consideration the first thing are head-to-heads. But if head-to-heads are complete mashed potatoes, like they beat them, but they beat them and they beat us, I mean, that's what all of this whole mashed potatoes is a big circle right now, and you don't get anything out of it. So you have to start looking at other things. And there's other things that come in, like who have you beaten? How are they playing at the end of the year? All of those things. Record to me doesn't mean that much. It does for those that have a really good record.
Yeah. Well, that's
but it really doesn't, because there's a reason why teams like Duluth East and Grand Rapids play the two most difficult schedules that are out there. Because really, in the end, it doesn't matter what your seed is. It matters if you're prepared to play. And we're not worried. Obviously, we'd like to be the top seed. We would. We'd like to be the one or the two. But we want to be playing our best hockey, and we do that by playing good competition. Yep. So that should mean something, right? And the other thing is take a look at what you said a little bit earlier. Here's another piece that you have to look at. Does the conference matter? I mean, we play it in a conference. They have a conference championship. Does it matter? I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't seed you. But take a look at what we just said. There's 4 teams in that conference that are single A and 4 that are double A. You guys can look up what the conference standings are right now. Hibbing won the conference at first. The second place team in the conference before the game tomorrow. I think Rock Ridge still has to play tomorrow.
Yeah, they play Denfeld. Yep.
But before that game, Rapids ended up 2 in the conference.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, it has.
Does it have something to do with it?
I think it has to. Otherwise, why would anyone? I guess scheduling is part of the thing you play in a conference because you're guaranteed to get these games. But like Duluth East is not in the conference.
They're independent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think as an AD and as just the coaches in general, I mean, it could be an unwritten rule, but the conference, because it's a common opponent thing, it should matter. Otherwise, there's just more reason to not be in a
It's a talking point,
right? Yeah.
And it's an argument point for people. It can be.
Right.
Definitely. I think that's all I have to say about any of that stuff. It's all going to come out the way it should. There's teams that you'd like to be playing. If you said, I'd like to play this team first, or I would really like to see this team playing that team in the semifinals. You know what I'd really like to see? I'd really like to see the 2 best teams end up playing in the championship game.
Yeah, that's
right. The 2 teams that I think are the top 2 teams, and there's a lot of people that have mentioned this, and I think regardless of how you rank them or how you seed them, if I'm talking about who the 2 best teams in Section 7 AA are, they're Grand Rapids and Rock Ridge.
Okay.
Those are the 2 best teams. I'd like to see them playing in the finals. I don't care who gets what seeds. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's who I'd like to see play there.
I would too.
But it may not end up that way.
Yeah,
so
we got to get them on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Got to get you on the opposite side. And the other thing is, no matter who or how this goes, just like we talked about the 4 and 5 game, the 4 and 5 game is to be pretty dang good. I mean, it could be East and Marshall again. They could be meeting on Tuesday, a week apart. Yep. So, which is a rivalry game for those who don't know. A lot of the kids that are from or that are playing at Marshall came from East. So these are their buddies that they played youth hockey with and such. So it can get kind of crazy. So anyway, that 4 and 5 game will be. So watch our social channels. As soon as we have something, we will be sharing out the 7AA seedings. So like I said, Coach was just mentioning Rock Ridge is at Denfeld. Chisholm Hibbing has one more to go. They're at Chisago, and I Falls will be over at Lake of the Woods. And then one more to preview here, the GRG Lightning.
Yeah. Section final.
Section
Tomorrow
final.
night at Fogarty Arena, 7 o'clock. If you can't make it down there to watch the Lightning play.
Is that in Blaine?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If you can't make it to Fogarty and Blaine to watch the GRG Lightning hopefully win their first section championship since 2012.
Wow.
Then tune in if you've got a MN Hockey TV handle, if you have a subscription to MN Hockey TV, turn that on or just buy the game and watch it and stream it live. That's going to be a fun one to watch, and I have every reason in the world to believe that they're going to knock Andover off this time, and this is going to be their opportunity. I really believe the Lightning are going to win this one and go down to St. Paul.
1-1 tie during the year with these two teams? Do you
Yep.
know? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
That's what I
I
thought
know
I
it
heard.
was a 2-2.
Or
It
so-
was,
okay,
it was
but
here.
it was a tie.
Yeah, it was a
okay.
tie. It ended in a tie.
Oh, was that the night of the...
Yep, we have
Oh,
doubleheader.
that was
They
the
played
doubleheader
before
night.
us, and then we played after against Lakeville Salt.
Okay, that was... Okay, yep, okay. And then Proctor Hermantown versus North Shore, by the time we get this posted, that game was probably going on right now. So if you're girls hockey family and you have the streaming services, put us on pause. Don't stop us forever. Just put us on pause, watch the game, and then turn us back on.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on the previews?
No.
All right, squash the like button if you could, please. Let's move on to Scores and More. Presented by Fortune Bay Resort and Casino on beautiful Lake Vermilion. Fortune Bay offers 172 rooms in a smoke-free resort, indoor pool, RV park, world-class golf, several dining options, a bar, and all the gaming you can handle. Visit fortunebay.com for more details. St. Valentine's, like we said, is coming up Saturday. So here's what they got at the Sunrise Steakhouse. Dinner for two. You'll get an 8-ounce bacon wrapped filet, broccolini, your choice of potato, a Caesar salad, and a couple of chocolate truffles. So check out their Facebook for more details on what's going on at the Sunrise Steakhouse. FortuneBay.com, and you can plan your trip right now. Number 4, Ely, 5 rip over Bemidji Denfeld, 3-2 winners over Proctor. Brainerd blasted by Moorhead 7-1. Cloquet with a 6-3 win over Roseau over the weekend. Number 13, I Falls, a 9-1 win over North Shore. That was they're on a 12-game heater. Like I said, their last loss was to Hibbing back in January. Proctor nipped by Roseau 4-3. We talked about Duluth East ripping Marshall 4-0. The 12-12 Greenway Raiders dropped by Park Rapids 4-2 last night on the road. Hermantown fell to Holy Angels. We touched on that just a little bit. That was a 6-2 game. Duluth Marshall over the weekend up in Bemidji with a 4-2 win. And the Wilderness of Eveleth with a 5-1 loss to the Wausau Cyclones and the Walleye Scotty Dinah Hornets. Update. They do it again. 4-2 winners over the Grove, Maple Grove.
And I don't know if anybody really cares. Did you mention this one? Rogers knocking off number 1 in the state last night.
That was last night. I thought that was Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
I thought it was Saturday. Yeah.
Oh,
I
they
thought
beat
that was a
Moorhead
weekend
too.
game. Yes.
So they beat Moorhead and they beat Minnetonka. Both.
Oh, I didn't see the talk. So the Tonka must have been last night.
Yeah.
I knew about the Moorhead.
Moorhead
Oh,
and Tonka.
wow.
Rogers taking
No
over the number 1
kidding.
spot in the state right now.
Ooh,
Good for them.
good for them. Wow, that's exciting. And they went last year. I think was that their first ever trip? Was it last year?
Yep,
or was it the year
program
you were there?
history is the
Was it
first
was
year.
it last year? Okay. So all right, are they the Royals?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Good for them.
Giddy up Royals. All right, a couple people to highlight here. Nate Garski hits 100 career points versus Superior.
And climbing.
And Kylie DeBay on the aforementioned GRG Lightning, 150 career points. So
Scored that against Hibbing.
scored that. Oh boy, it broke my heart. Right there. It's like a dagger. It's like the St.
Kylie
Valentine's. Yeah. So congratulations to both of them. Miss Hockey, they moved into the semifinal round for Miss Hockey, and there's 1 2-8er, Jasmine Hovda from Roseau. Anything on her?
Don't know
No.
anything about her, but good for her.
Haven't heard of her, and I'm watching a little bit of the Hibbing School Board. So Hibbing's got a bunch of well, here, let's go back. Coach Larson, you're a teacher. Are operating referendums very important to students and what's going on in the
It
school?
sure would be nice to be able to pass an operating.
Holy, well,
It would.
so Hibbing decides in November that they're not going to pass a referendum. $99,000 the district's paying the city of Hibbing for the use of the parking lot and for the use of the memorial building for boys and girls hockey. And I haven't confirmed this, but the rumor is Chisholm knocked on the superintendent's door and said, you know what, why don't you come over here for $25,000? So $900,000 to $25,000, you can save a teacher with $75,000, right? So We shall see, but there is a chance. Now, I know the super said in the meeting, the new super in Hibbing, Kerry McDonald, will be meeting with the city of Hibbing again. But next year, Chisholm Hibbing Hockey, and we're going to really call it Chisholm Hibbing Hockey next year.
Yeah,
if it moves to the Chisholm Arena, and that is on the table. Just so all
after
of you
they
know.
just built new locker rooms at the Memorial Building,
And all that new stuff, and I
boy.
might be over in
You gotta
Chisholm.
pay for it by charging them, right?
That's right. Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled on that. And semifinal Saturday at Amsoil Arena down in Duluth will be. It's just 10 days away. It's a week from Saturday, and we will be having our party again. So there will be. What's the AA matchups? Noon and 2. And then 6 and 8 for the single A. Be 4 games. Noon and 2 for the AA, 6 and 8 p.m. for the single A. We'll be squeezing in a little get together over at the Green Mill in Canal Park from 3 to 5. We'll have some pizzas. We'll have some hors d'oeuvres. You're all invited. We want to see you. We did it last year. We had a lot of fun. So like I said, Saturday, February 21st, Green Mill, Canal Park, 3 to 5. Be there or be nowhere. You'll be there.
I will.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
How about Craig? Are they in town?
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
see.
I don't know what their wilderness schedule is, but it'd be cool to bring them in.
Yeah, the Wilderness of Cloquet. All right, anything to add to episode 127?
127. Nope.
All right, we'll get rolling here then. Please comment, please share. We'd appreciate that. Hit the follow button on Facebook. And for those of you that are podcasters, either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd appreciate if you get us a review written. That mean a lot to us, and it's a great way to support the show at no cost to you.
Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Subscribe to the YouTube. Yes, we still have some other stuff, some stuff cooking with the YouTube page. We would appreciate that. As a matter of fact, Duet Coulter, when I left here last night, said, I'm going to go to the YouTube page and subscribe. So we appreciate that. Yep. Speaking of the YouTube page, find us everywhere. Find us on X under T McGill, under T with Miss McGill, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. On Facebook or YouTube, you will find us under Goatsportsmediallc. LLC. So if you're trying to find us on YouTube, it's GOAT, as in greatest of all time, Goatsportsmediallc. LLC. You have to put that LLC or we will not show up. And if you're looking for us on Rumble, it's just Goat Sports, one word. St. Valentine's Day again on Saturday. We got the gifts, caps, $20. We have t-shirts all the way up to XL, hoodies for $45, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. So if you're looking for a last minute gift, perfect gift for somebody, get a hold of us. And a big thank you to the greatest partners on earth, by Wabeck Family and Virginia Family Dental, Aspire Heating and Control, The Ring Sports Bar and Grill, Arrow Auto Glass and Door, Fortune Bay Resort and Casino, Zorba's of Grand Rapids, Iron Range Goalie Academy, Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC, Minnesota Hockey Camps, the Jackson Hole Moose Hockey Club, Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, and Integral Hockey Twin Ports. For Reed Larson, I am Puka. Get out there, kids, and be your dream. Remember, just 4 weeks left. Get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the Goat Sports Media Audio Network, cleaned by Virginia Family Dental.